welcome, Savannah. I'm so stoked to have you here. This has been
Thanks
a
for
long
having me.
time. Yes, I'm so
Yeah, this
excited.
is so fun.
Okay, so to kick things off and just get the listeners a little bit more familiar with you, how did your career evolve into what it is today? I mean, I know that when I found you on Instagram, your page just stands out so well. And I feel like it's so fun and refreshing. And I think in the beauty industry, we see a lot of like, I don't know, I don't want to knock anybody, but we see like a lot of that neutral, beigey kind of washing of aesthetic, which looks beautiful, but I love to see a lot of like big splash of colors. So I feel like your page and your branding and everything just stuck right out immediately, and I'd love to hear kind of your journey on how you got to now.
Thank you so much. I agree with you. That's what I always say is I love the neutral aesthetic for people that it works for,
Yeah.
but it just clearly was not my thing. But I went to school during COVID, so I didn't get a lot out of school, which I feel like most people say anyway, regardless of whenever they go to school. But once I got out, I started at a med spa and they required me. I actually wanted to be a laser technician. So I wanted to do laser hair removal, tattoo removal, that kind of stuff. But when I tried to get a job for that, nowhere would hire me. Thank
Mhm.
God. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
Um, I finally found somewhere that they said I could do lasers, but I also had to do brows and lashes, lash extensions. So they trained me on how to do that. Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, it worked for the time being. And then I ended up going on my own like 3 or 4 months later. And then I ended up getting to work underneath an already experienced brow artist here. So that helped level up my career for sure. And then as far as like branding goes, finding that, I feel like that also set me off. So I ended up having a client that was a graphic designer for a local brewery here. Um, and so she had a full time graphic design job, but I actually had asked her if she had any recommendations on someone to hire for branding because I knew that was my next step was to come out with, I didn't have the name yet. I only had Estelle Aesthetics, which is my middle name. And I feel like that's what most people start out with is, their name and then aesthetics. And it worked for the time, but once I was wanting to more so just focus on brows, I needed something more specific. So I asked her and she ended up being able to do it herself. And because she was my client and she was in my studio already, she saw and knew me. So I feel
Yeah.
like that helped a ton because she literally her first delivery to me was the logo that I still have today.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, so she really hit it on the head with it, and that truly I ran with that too. Like, everything that she created me, the logo, the text, the font, everything, I just took that and put it on everything and made sure I used that. And I also did a consult call with a lash artist in the area too after I got my branding, or it might have been before, and she was the one that inspired me to start doing that because she told me that was such an important part of having a business was the branding behind it. So it was really that helped elevate me too. So doing those 2 things, like having someone basically tell me what to do through the consult call and then having the branding to go with it, it just elevated from there.
That's a great point because I do feel like something that people forget, and we were just talking about the so and so aesthetics or brows by or lashes by or whatever. I feel like there's a sea of that, and even if obviously I feel like our feeds versus a client's feed are very different, they're not seeing all of the beauty professionals, but like, they're seeing a handful in the area, and if 10 out of or like a 10 out of 30 are all buy, like I mean, it's gonna
Yes.
be a lot, and it's kind of nice to be the one person standing out. And I feel like even if your skill level may not be like top tier, I feel like if something pulls you out or a client just feels seen by your branding, I feel like there's a certain level of trust and kind of relationship building that I feel it does when people feel comfortable right off the bat. And I feel
Yeah.
like even if everything's not dialed into like absolute 10 out of 10 perfect, I feel like people are just like gravitate towards it and are like willing to
Yeah.
kind of like grow with you, which I love.
Yes, no, absolutely, and they wanna be able to relate to something too. Hell, I really can tell, like, from social media, they wanna be able to almost know you without
Yeah.
knowing you first. So the more that you can put that into your branding and into your page, the better, because they feel more comfortable from the jump. They know what they're gonna be walking into.
1,000%. I always tell all my students, I'm like, "You have to show your face on Instagram." I love, love, love when I get a new client that walks into my salon before they even enter my studio, and they're like, "Oh, I'm here to see her," because they know me. They're like, "I may have never met you, but I know your face and everything," and I just feel like it's so much it's first of all, it's less awkward for us. I love it
Yes,
when it's like, "Oh, I
100%.
know you," and you're like, "Perfect. I don't know you, but you feel comfortable," which
It
instantly
just
makes
makes
me
it
feel
so
more
much
comfortable.
easier. Yeah.
So you said that they kind of helped with your branding and everything. What inspired your name, the Brow Star?
So that's actually a funny story. That it's
Okay,
I
okay.
guess it's not funny, but it's crazy. So, originally, with the branding and the logo and everything, my first name that I ever had was Brow Brat, 'cause I've
That's
always liked alliterations, and then 'cause coming up with the name was I wanted something short, I wanted it to have brow in it, of course, and I love alliterations. So that was what I came up with. I think I came up with that in, like, 2021. So I had been working for about a year before I came up with that name. So whenever the graphic designer made the logo, that was the name that I had, and that's what
okay.
I made it my Instagram handle, everything, and then I think it was about a year or so later, I got a message on Instagram. There's actually someone who is Brow Brat in
Okay.
New York City, and she has it trademarked. And so she sent me a nice cutie. I mean, she was very nice about it, saying, "Hey, this is my name. I have it trademarked. I'm gonna give you this many days to change your name before I send you a cease and desist," basically,
Yeah.
which was
Oh my god, you're like
super. Yeah, that was so, so, so scary to me at the time because I was like a year-ish into this, and
oh my god.
I established that branding and everything, and I was just like, "Okay, well, I have no choice."
Yeah, yeah,
So, at least I knew I was gonna keep what the branding looked like, but I wanted it to had to be a different name. So then I was like back to square one.
so
So,
hard too, especially when you're married to it, you're like, "Oh no, this was it."
yeah, but what to be honest, like, I liked the name, but it wasn't me because not that being a brat is a bad thing, but
No,
that's just not it was not me, it didn't fit me. Whenever that
it also
happened.
didn't have its moment quite yet, right? Like, that was a little pre Charlie XCX and, like, the whole
Yeah,
Brat and we're like I feel like Brat wasn't its like, I don't know, I think we look at it a little bit differently now.
for sure. Yeah, but it from the jump, it kind of has a negative context behind
Yeah,
it, and
absolutely.
so, clearly from me, like, that is not
Yeah,
what I put off. So, that was probably it was such a blessing in disguise. So,
totally.
I went back to my note that I had made before I came up with Brat, and so I went through all of the names I had on there, and I didn't have Star by itself, but I had Starella or something, and so I went to the USPTO, yeah, I think that's what it is, the trademark database,
Yeah,
and was typing in all these different names to make sure because obviously I don't wanna run into this problem again,
yeah,
and so Browstar wasn't taken, and it was perfect. It wasn't alliteration, but it was 4 letters, and I felt like star just embodied, like, it's positive, it means, like, number 1, like,
yeah, 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 the
it
connotation.
just yeah, it fit, so as soon as I came up with that, I reached out to my own lawyer, and started the trademark process just because, like, I tell my students too, I don't necessarily think a trademark is 100% necessary from the jump by any
Yeah,
means, just because it's expensive and time consuming, but for me, I didn't ever wanna run into that problem again. I didn't want someone else to start using it and then come after me,
yeah,
which that's the thing is if that were to happen, that's why I tell my students, if somebody comes after you in the future and you had the name first, you would win in court technically, but
yeah,
then you
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah,
go through
you're
court and pay
established.
all the fees.
Yeah.
So I went through that whole process. It took over a year,
Wow.
but it did get approved, and so now I have it trademarked and it's mine.
I love that though, because I feel that's such a power move and you're really just solidifying your branding, your name and everything. I personally don't have one. I love my business brand name, the Eyebrow Goddess and everything. I'm also I don't know, I'm not obsessed with it, you know what I mean? So I'm just kind of if something were to happen, I'm fine with it. But if you love your
Yes.
name, I feel like trademark is totally the move. Like and like if you have really big dreams and goals and things like that, why not solidify it with the trademark and kind of just like, okay, this is our starting jumping off point.
Yes. Yeah, it feels good for sure.
Yeah, and it's so established and so I don't know, I just feel like it expertise and, like, so professional and
Yes. Yeah. It puts you up a level.
yes, and I feel like when you take your business seriously, like, your business is like, better for it, and I feel like, as serious as you take it is how far it can go, so I just feel like even
Absolutely.
something that may feel not as important or necessary can really be a game changer,
Yeah,
even if it's just like a mental thing.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, aside from your color scheme and everything being very you, was there anything else that drove that inspiration for the bright colors or anything like that?
I truly got it all from the little stars that are in my logo that she made for me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, not that I wasn't colorful before, but I think I really just leaned into it after
Yeah.
that, and then also any time that I've decorated anything, I've always found it a lot easier to do with all colors because if you stick to, couple when you're at the store buying something, it, like, might be the same color, but then it doesn't match. I don't know, so it just
Yeah,
felt
yeah, yeah.
overwhelming to me. So to me, I'm just like, if I just get everything all colorful, it'll all match. Like, who
Yeah,
cares if
that's
it clashes?
yeah.
So that's what I think it I was really able to hone in on it once I started decorating my own studio. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, like this is so much fun." Everything that I've accumulated over the years from antique shopping, thrift shopping, like it all just came together in that space and I really feel like I like vintage, I like patterns, fun. I want to be able to express myself through that, through interior design, through clothes, like everything. So
Yeah.
I was really able to make my brand read that.
I love that. Speaking of your space is literally so gorgeous and so
Thank
cutesy.
you.
I love it. Not only your decor and everything, but like the layout of it, I feel like is so much fun
It is
and
fun.
unique. How did you find your space and what like kind of brought you to it?
So I before I was in the space I'm in now, I was working in the lobby of it's called Manifest. It's just like I think there's like 9 or 10 rooms of booth rental essentially of different providers.
Okay.
But when I went there at the time, there wasn't any rooms available, and the rooms don't have windows. And I'm a huge, huge, huge advocate of like you have to work somewhere with windows because you need to see the natural light. Um, so whenever she told me that I could just work out in the lobby, I was fine with that because it had floor to ceiling windows and I could see the outside.
Cool. Yeah.
But I was out in the open. So what really prompted me to start looking for my own space was I wanted privacy. So I reached out to a couple different commercial real estate agents to help me find the space. And it's actually where I'm at is the very first place I toured. As soon as I walked in there, I was like,
No way.
yeah, yeah. I was like, this is the one. It has everything I need. I mean, now, because it's been a little over a year, obviously I wish it was a little bit bigger, but for just me, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I have my own bathroom. I mean, it used to be an Airbnb, so there's a shower and
Oh my God,
everything.
so cute.
But I just use it as storage. Yeah, no, it's perfect for just me. I do wish it was bigger, but there are bigger things coming in the future. So, I'm already in the process of that. So it works for me for now, but I do love it. It's fun.
That's amazing. If you were to jump back to when you were sourcing your space and you could give a new SD or Cosmo or beauty professional a couple tips or advice for looking for your space, what would it be?
Definitely decide whether you want to I think if you're new, do you want to work underneath somebody as commission? Do you need help finding clientele? If the answer is yes, I would definitely say go and do commission or find someone that inspires you, go train under them, get to know them, figure out how you could maybe work for them. But if you're ready to go on your own, then I would say you do one of two things. You find a booth rental space that fits your vibe, that you like the people that are inside of that space, because that does as much as everyone is their own separate business, it does reflect on you
Mhm.
as a business owner, especially whenever they walk into the space, if they have to run into any of the other providers or any of their decor, anything. Like you just
Yeah.
want it to be a reflection of you. So finding a space that's right for you and going and touring multiple different ones, talking and following and like reading and learning about other people before you do that. And then also looking into being on your own, but like completely, like how I did finding a commercial real estate agent to find you a private space because I think that's not something I thought about in the beginning. I didn't even think that would be an option,
Yeah.
but really, like, what I pay is extremely similar to what I paid whenever I was inside of a booth rental place.
Yeah, I think it's
So,
kinda surprising the how close to
yeah.
the same that rent can be. I think that we assume when you're completely isolated on your own that it's gonna be like double or triple, and it's surprisingly not.
Right. Yeah, that's what surprised me the most, and I was expecting to pay double or triple, honestly,
Yeah.
going into
Oh,
it. I was just
totally.
like, "Whatever, it's fine," but then it ended up being very similar.
Yeah, that's amazing. What is your favorite thing about your current space?
I love how private it is.
Yeah.
And I love the storefront that I have. It's in the Plaza District of OKC, so it's the It's very artsy fartsy.
Oh, I love
There's
that.
tons of bars and restaurants and different little shops and stuff. And where my actual front door is in the only parking lot that's in that entire district. So
Okay.
everyone that comes to the plaza sees my storefront.
Oh, I
And
love
then I have two parking spots that I pay for my clients. And so I have signs up that like have my logo and everything on there, so
no.
they also people are also exposed to that, so I feel like it gets a lot of exposure just from where it's at.
Yeah.
And
Underrated.
then yeah, no, exactly. So, the location for sure, but then I also just really love that my clients get a one-on-one experience. I don't ever have to run into like, I don't let anyone else come in until I'm ready for them and the other client has left, so they really just get that one-on-one personal time.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I know that you kind of came into Browse, and how did you kind of get most of your experience? What made you know that Browse were it for you? Kind of tell me a little bit more about that journey and your educational background, and because I mean, your work is absolutely stunning.
Thank you. Whenever I started working underneath an experienced brow artist here, she only offered brows. And at the time, I was still offering lash extensions, lash lifts, brows, and I think I was even doing facials too. And honestly, I just was always really naturally good at brows. So I just kind of leaned into that and I ended up cutting out. Once I cut out all the other services, that's when I really felt like my business exploded because I was only doing brows every single day, over and over. What that I and that's why I tell my students too is if you can, like, only focus on one thing because then you're just doing it all day long and you get really good really quickly. If you can figure out what it is that you enjoy, and that's the thing, I just enjoyed doing brows so much more than all the other things. So, once I realized that, I was really self-taught a lot of the way, just from, like, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
Okay.
Following people, and then I have taken courses from Vienna Victoria Brows in San Diego, and where else? I've taken Brow Baby Miami's. I've done a little bit more now, and, like, I've done your threading course, which I wanna do an in-person threading too, because I think it's so important to be well-rounded. If you're gonna only specialize in one thing, be able to do all of the things in that
Totally agree.
thing. And I love the way threading looks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. So many people want to use retinol. I mean, I think you should.
Yes.
So
100%.
that's just something else that I want to add into it. But I definitely think again, like I said earlier, going to someone that you admire their work or their like business, whatever it is, and learning from them. And that's how you can do what you want to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's such a good point too. I love like what you're saying about really focusing because I say that all the time. I use this quote all the time. The jack of all trades is a expert in none. And I just feel in our industry, there's so many moving parts and it's constantly evolving and there's so much education. When
Yes.
I made the decision to split from brows and facials to just brows, I was so relieved by the lack of what I needed to learn and how I could just focus on brows. I didn't need to focus on skincare education or ingredient, that kind of stuff. Like I was like, I can hone in and really focus on my building your bread and butter services and knowing
Yes.
exactly what you want to focus on. And I feel like when you make yourself the end all be all of one thing, it stands out. So I feel like you're gonna get obviously all the same type of client, somebody focusing on brows, but
Yes.
it's fun because you get the difficult client, the client that can't get I've never been happy with my brows. And that might sound scary at first, but it's really cool when you're chosen as the expert to help those people that haven't been able to. We were just talking about, like, self-care and juggling, trying like, clients having to, like, stop their retinol in order to get waxed and having kind of being a brow artist and being well-rounded and the fact that you can see clients where they're at any stage and not have to, like,
Yes.
have them, cycle through their stuff and things like that, which I feel like is a
Yes.
really great point.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like with anything business, you don't wanna exclude yourself from any sort of clientele. You wanna be able to appeal and be able to provide a service to everyone or as many people as you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. Is there a service or treatment that you've been dying to try that you haven't tried yet?
As far as brows go,
Yeah, or maybe outside of brows.
honestly, I've tried pretty much everything. Like, I've done, like, brow bleaching and then the colorful brows.
That's right, we've talked about that before previously. I think I saw your page and I was like, "That is amazing, so much fun."
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just not I feel like it's not feasible for a lot of people as far as, like,
Yeah,
clients go because, I mean, it's just like with your hair, if you do a color, obviously, that color comes out so quickly, so you
yeah,
have to be willing to touch it up or be okay with it being faded all the time, and
yeah,
I just
totally.
think for brows, that's not really I feel like it's cool for an event or a special occasion or a photo shoot or something, but definitely not feasible long term,
Yeah. I
but
think honestly that's like a good thing to talk about actually. I feel like for brow artists, I feel like this is something that I feel towards tinting and coloring brows period, is that I feel like we've kind of gotten to this stage where we're marketing it as a way of insane longevity, and I feel like when we're dealing with coloring the hair, there's just no longevity to it. Like there's so many elements that remove color from the hair, and especially like hybrid skin stains. Hate when I see people like hate is a strong word, but I hate when I see, like,
yeah.
people
No,
saying,
but I
like,
I agree.
well, like, 12 days or something with the dye, and I'm just like, "Stop." Like, you're giving such unrealistic expectations, and I feel like brows and social media, it's already so difficult as a brow artist dealing with unrealistic expectations that I'm
Yes.
just like, "Let's not make it worse for ourselves."
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I tell clients more on the short end as far as longevity goes because it better to exceed the expectations than to fall short.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, no, and that's, like, what I lead with, and that's also, like, when I'm having a consultation is always, "This is not permanent. This is something you're going to have to come back for, unfortunately." But that
Yeah.
can be such a great thing because you either want to have your brows be permanently on your face or you don't.
Yeah.
And I have a million referrals to people who do
Yes.
amazing permanent work.
Yep.
But for me, that's something that I really lean on, and I say, "I'm glad that my services aren't permanent because
Yeah.
styles change, your face changes, trends come and go." And then, I mean, I just see so many people with permanent makeup, and that's something also I think that the client doesn't understand is permanent makeup is a solution for skin. It is not a solution for the
Mhm.
hairs
That
because
is
your hairs are still gonna grow. If you're blonde, your hairs are gonna grow blonde on top of your whatever color
yes.
tattoo you get. So you're still gonna have to get them tinted, and if you like lamination, that's a service on the hairs solely. So, like, you have to keep getting that done if you enjoy that.
Yes,
So,
and I think that we've, finally reached this stage where clients are realizing that the lamination and the tint and different things like that actually make the P P PMU permanent makeup look better. Like, it brings life
yes.
to it, like, especially like you said with the blonde hair on top or old or even, like, old faded or whatever. I just feel there's an extra zhuzh that we can do with the brows. I'll have a client that'll come in with maybe they have the tattoo and it's a little bit older, but they haven't quite reached the stage where they can get a touch up yet, and they're feeling like a
Yes.
little bit of lack. I'm like, "Cool, let's, like, tint or do a lamination on top," and we'll kinda, like, fill in those areas where you feel like you're lacking a little bit and just, like, breathe new life into the whole brow as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they go hand in hand. I think it's
I
great if you
agree.
have both.
Yeah, and I love the way that you said that, like, it's so different when we're dealing with the skin versus the hair, and that is, like that's a difficult conversation to have with clients. What is a recommendation that you would have to, like, a new brow artist trying to figure out the ins and outs of, like, client communication and, like, building those kind of relationships?
I feel like the biggest thing is just being 100% honest and also knowing the product that you're using,
Yeah,
and figuring out how to ask them the right questions to use the right products for them.
100%.
Because there are so many different types of tint and lamination to get them what they're wanting and also the longevity, which that's a whole again, like
Yeah,
you were saying, I feel like I've tried a million different tints and whether they claim to be hybrid or not. In my experience, the hybrid, like a Brow Code and Brow Daddy specifically, they
yeah,
stain the skin really well. But
yeah.
as far as hair longevity, so for like me, for example, whenever I use those on me, the skin stain lasts longer than a traditional tint does. But for traditional tint, that will last longer on the hair than a hybrid tint will.
I
I don't know if you've
agree.
had that. Okay.
I feel like I hear people all the time say the opposite, that the hybrid is more intense and but I was like, I don't agree with that. I feel like I've seen the longevity in basic tints. I feel like basic tints do a lot better job of depositing the color in the actual hairs themselves.
That's exactly what I say. It deposits deeper and better because that's what it's meant to do. is tint the
Yes,
hairs.
it's not focusing on the skin. I feel like we've developed all these products, and I feel like we're moving the target, guys. I don't feel like we're not focusing on the actual issue at hand. I tell my clients this all the time. I'm like, "If you're coming to me for a tint, your goal should not be focusing on your skin.
Right.
My goal is to color hair. I This is actually how I word it. My goal is to color your hair. The skin stain is a bonus. It's not the goal of the treatment. That is an extra
Absolutely.
little benefit that lasts a very short window of time. And like you were saying with like the vivid colors and things, I feel like it's great for a vacation or an event or a situation where like I'll have some brides who really love the way that I fill and like build their brow kind of. And so, like,
Yeah.
maybe for a wedding, they're getting wedding makeup done, they'll come in a little before and get a hybrid so that they have kind of that built-in, like, style of how I
Base.
shape their brows. Exactly.
Yes.
Not saying I'm replacing the makeup or the wedding or whatever, but, like, it's giving them kind of a guideline of what to do, how to fill it in, or the makeup artist to fill it in so that it
Yes.
looks in the way that they like it to be, but that's never the solution. It's like,
No.
I
No.
hate the hybrid being, like, this end all be all goal, and I just feel like we've really moved the target, kinda missed the mark on what its actual goal is, and
Right, and educating the client on that.
yes,
Yeah, because
exactly.
I think the solution to that is permanent makeup. Powder
Yeah,
brows,
exactly.
microblading, like, whatever. If that's what you're looking for, that needs to be the route you go, and also, unless you have yes, we can tint the skin that's like, if you have a little gap between your front and then your tail, like, yes, we can fill that in, but like you said, that's a base, and that's gonna be gone in a couple of days, so really what I tell
Yeah.
clients is, what I'm doing is teaching you how to fill in your brows, essentially.
Yes,
Like, you're gonna see the shape I give you, especially over and the more you come to me over and over and over, you're gonna realize what I'm doing, and you're gonna be able to upkeep it in between appointments easier than it is if you just don't ever get your brows done at all. Because, like me, for example, today, doing my brows, even me, like, that's what I do. But doing my own, whenever they have zero shape and zero color, it's rocket science. Like, I literally,
yeah,
I can't.
it's so annoying.
It's hard. So going to someone, we are here to assist, not problem solve, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, at the end of the day, we're not magicians. I think
Uh,
that we're rock stars. I think we can do a lot. I think we're very educated. I think we're experts, but we are not magicians and we
yeah,
cannot magically make something different. I think that having a really, really established referral list is great so that we can send you on your way whenever you need and vice versa. Maybe somebody has a consultation for permanent cosmetics and it's not their thing. Hopefully that artist is referring back to us for something less permanent, and I think there's a time and a place for everything. Like if you get a hybrid stain and you were absolutely obsessed with how they look the first couple days, maybe that's your sign that permanent cosmetics is your route to go. Like we can
absolutely.
be the helpful hand to show you without the permanency of kind of a
Mhm.
general idea. I'm not saying that it's copy and paste, but a general idea of what you could be looking for. And like I think that we're like you said, I think that we're there to help the client. And if that's me helping you figure out that I'm not what you need, then
Right,
that's
that's
great.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, real talk. If you're still avoiding threading because you think it's too complicated or you've been learning from random YouTube videos, babe, that's like trying to learn surgery from Grey's Anatomy. My hand-time threading course is the real deal. I'm walking you through exactly how to hold the string, nail your tension, keep clients comfortable, and make their brows so clean they practically thank you in tips. It's self-paced, it's online, and it's literally a skill that let me raise my prices and still book out. So stop winging it and start threading like the boss you are. The link's in the show notes. Go get it.
Yeah, because
100.
in the long run for us, that's gonna be so much better, and I think that's how I found my ideal clientele, or, like,
Yeah.
really built this strong thing, is because I'm so honest and realizing, "Okay, we work together because like, this is exactly what you want, and it's also totally okay." This is something I tell my students. If you don't jive with someone and if they don't enjoy your work, that is so okay, because there are a million other people who do these services, the exact same services that you and I do, but maybe that person is their ideal client, and that's fine,
Yeah.
because that makes space for someone else, and also for the client. Like, I'm not trying to please everyone. I would love that, wouldn't we
Yes.
all?
Yeah.
But that's just not feasible. It's not realistic.
And yeah, I was gonna say it's unrealistic and it puts too much pressure on you when you're in a space, especially when you're new. I feel like we can sometimes come from a place of lack where we're really worried, and I totally understand. I've been there, I've been there where everybody seems so important because you're horrified of losing a client, especially when you only have five. You're like, that sixth
Yeah.
one is really important. I really can't lose it, but you can.
You
You
can.
can if it's not right for you, and then maybe 3 more will pop up because you said no to that one, and I
Yes,
feel like we gotta move and, you have to be brave, I think, for this industry, and I
and
feel like
confident.
yes, brave and confident, whether you're working under somebody or for yourself, I feel like you have to lean into what you know and what who you are as an artist, because I feel
Mhm.
like when you try to fit even if you are niche down, I feel like if you try to help too many people, I feel like it and honestly, I feel like it kinda takes the fun out of it. Like, you wanna do your thing, your style.
Yes, yes, and even within what we do, it seems I feel like unless you're in this industry, you don't realize that there are styles within
Yeah.
brows. I mean, like, I feel like with lash extensions, that's a little bit easier to, like, see and notice,
The visual is there
but
a little bit more, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, but there's definitely a style within brow shaping. I
1000%.
mean, and it's not a one size fits all, that's another thing. It's like I'm not, I'm not having a new person come in and giving them my style. Like, that's not
Yeah,
necessarily the case, but if someone so chooses to come to me because they like my style and they say, "You're the artist, do what you want," then yes, I'm going to do what I think would look the best on them. So
yes.
it's just it's again communication, talking to them and saying, "Do you want me to do my thing or do you have preferences?"
Yes, and I feel like that should be kinda like your go to mini consultation, right? When the client lays down, like, what are we looking for? And I always ask, like, is there something super specific that we need to do today? And sometimes your clients will have done the YouTube, TikTok, research till they die, Pinterest
Yes,
board inspo for their brows. We might have to curb their expectations a little bit. We might have to bring them back to
absolutely.
reality. But sometimes they're super particular. And then other times, like you just said, they're like, do your thing. I want you. Or they bring your feed in and you're like, I love this. I know exactly what happened. Ugh, I love those
Yeah,
clients.
that's the best. But also they'll, like, show if that's where you do have to bring them back to earth because if they show me
Yeah.
a picture of someone on my feed that has permanent makeup and then I also laminated tinting them and they
Yeah.
show me a picture and they're like, "I want this," and they wanted brow shaping by itself. I'm like,
Yes.
"Well, that's not how
Yes.
it works."
Exactly, and it's like you said just now, circling back to communication, sometimes I had a client come in one time and she was like, "I really want lamination," and I was like, "Oh, interesting," and she was a little bit older, so I was, like, kinda surprised because lamination tends to be more of a trendier kind of service, and so I'm having this conversation and I'm trying to suss out exactly why lamination sounded good to her, like, where did she
Yes.
see it, who told her about it, where like, what drove that being the first thing out of her mouth, and she ended up wanting a tint, and I was like, whoa, we are so opposite ends of the spectrum here. I will literally grind communication into your skull because I just feel like it's so pivotal to our industry and just working with clients.
Yes, especially with tint and lamination.
Yeah,
That's when someone books if it's a first time client and they have booked either a tint or a lamination or both, I really like you said, I asked them a million questions. Why do you want it? What did you see? Are you willing to do the aftercare? Are you wanting to come back? Because I don't think they realize how big of a change it can be to your face.
100%.
And that's the last thing I want is someone to walk out and, I know everybody like grows into them after a couple of days, whatever you want to say.
I
I
feel
tell
your
my
joy.
clients that I don't like that. Like I want you to walk out of the studio liking them, not have to get used to them. So,
Yeah, I just told a student this recently. I was like, honestly, as counterproductive, because I know that at the end of the day, we're running a business, we want to upsell and make as much money as we can. I will talk a client who booked a first time lamination, first time tint. I will talk them out of the tint.
every time. Every
Just
time.
for lamination, like, it's such a massive difference that 9 times out of 10, both is too much.
It's too much
And, like,
every time. Yeah.
every time, they're so frustrated about it. Tint picks up more, so it's automatically inherently darker than maybe they would have preferred, like, it's just gonna go darker. We can curb it a little bit, but I feel like even if it's light, it's still a little bit darker than the lightness they would prefer maybe, and
Well,
it's just
and
a
with the lamination, it's
cute.
all sitting on top of each other, all the hairs, and so you're
Yeah.
already getting the density of the brows, so when you add tint on top of that, that's why it
It's a
amplifies.
lot.
Yeah.
And the first day, of course, they're super slick to the skin. They don't really, like, settle or, like,
They don't
lift
look
off for that
normal.
first like yeah, they look crazy at first, so it's just like, how much crazy can you handle? And to be honest, they can't handle too much.
No, no, and that's what yeah, I literally always try to turn them away. I usually say, "Come back at 4 weeks, we'll tint you then, and because your brows will still
Yeah,
be laminated, and we'll see what it
exactly.
looks like then, and if you like it, then we can do it from the jump."
So smart. I love that. Yeah, and every time that I've done it, I've had a client come back and loved it, wanna try the tint. "Thank you for telling me not to
Yes.
do" like, they're, like, so grateful for us. And, also, and at the end of the day I'm not a one or done. I'm not done with you after that initial appointment. I want you to come back. This is a long-term relationship, babe. I'm hoping that
Yeah.
we can have a discussion later on. We can tiptoe and we can inch our way to whatever the goal is. It's like, I don't know, a
I
marathon, not a race, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, 'cause that's the thing is we're not typically seeing the client only one time. I mean, this
Exact I
is yeah, because it's not permanent, and that's what I tell
yeah,
people. It's like, I you're gonna get and if you enjoy what you get this one time, you're gonna have to keep coming back, and I'm not saying that
yeah.
to help me make money, I'm saying that just because it's reality.
Exactly. Again, circling back to that clear communication.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned a couple times students. When did you get into education? What kind of inspired you to wanna go that route? And what are you teaching?
So I have been offering my one-on-one trainings now since March of this year. For the past couple of years, honestly, I've had people message me and ask if I offer that because I think people do what I said. Like they find someone that they enjoy their work and how their business is running, and so they want to learn from that person. And so I knew there was a demand for it. I just had been so booked out with
Yeah,
clientele that it was hard for me to make the time.
absolutely.
And also setting it all up, it's a whole thing, coming up with
Oh
how
my
I
god.
want to build up the training, what stuff I wanna put into it, and I really do love sharing, like, because I think there is a clientele for everyone, like, there can be a million of us and everyone can still be booked because most everybody has browsed, so you just have to find that clientele within your own business, and so I'm not scared of sharing, like, I need to share, I have too
Yes,
many, I want to help other people, and so I think I just got to that
love
point
it.
in my career where I want to share. If someone else wants to do exactly what I do, please, because it's fun and it's the best. And I love my career. It has given me so much. So I would love to do that for others. And I love like meeting people that and talking, just
Yes,
like what we're doing, talking about something that I'm so passionate about. It's so
yes.
fun.
It's your people. It's so fun to just be like
Yeah.
I always get so nervous before one-on-one trainings because I want them to be perfect, of course, so I'm just like a little ball of nerves, and my husband always is he laughs at me every single time because I come back at the end of the day from the training and I'm like, "This was amazing. It was so
It
much
was
fun."
so fun every single time.
I'm just like, this is what I love doing. Like, I love talking to people that like they just get you, right? It's this thing that we're
Yes.
super passionate about. It absorbs a lot of our
Yeah.
lives if you're a small business owner. Like, it's so important to us and it's just so fun. And I love what you just said about sharing and how especially as a solopreneur, like we're at max. Like what am I gonna do? Like I would love for there to be more options and referrals and recommendations. And I love when I have uh maybe I have a client that moves or something, and then I'm like, "Where are you going?" "Oh, I have a list of people, like, I love these girlies, they're
Literally
just
in this
totally
other
different."
city.
Yes,
Yeah. Every
exactly.
time.
Love building that network and that community, it's so rewarding, and, like, also rewarding in so many ways I didn't realize. I was like, every little bit has opened more doors than I had anticipated.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, what are your offerings as far as your classes? Is it just, like, an all-in-one, learn everything kind of a thing, or do you have anything broken down?
I have them fill out a Google form, so then once I get that, I assess all of it and build them a custom training based on what they wanna learn.
Okay.
So
Love that.
and then I send them, like, the pricing based upon that because, if they're just wanting to learn a couple of things or if they only wanna learn the business side of it, then maybe we can just do a consultation call instead of having to do a whole one-on-one training.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so just building it based around what they want, and eventually I do wanna do, like, group classes, but that's in the future just because I need a bigger space for that.
Yeah, totally. But I actually like your take on education because I feel like for a long time everything was very segregated. Learn shaping, learn mapping, learn lamination, learn tinting. And I think we've kind of moved into this element and I think it's fun because it's more like I love this individual and I want to learn how they do things. And I think that it's really cool that we're teaching in a way that's not so structured, I guess, in that sense, and more unique and customized. Because I know that, like,
Yes.
if I had to pick, I would rather choose a very customized experience versus some cookie cutter situation, which is really
Yeah.
neat. Fun path for education to be taking.
Right, exactly.
Do you plan to stay behind the chair, or are you hoping to full-time educate, or kinda what's your long-term plans?
So that's a big reason I got into the education world too, is because I kind of stepped back and was like, okay, what do I want for myself long term? And a big, big thing was I want to move out of Oklahoma, but I can't be behind the
Okay.
chair outside of Oklahoma because I mean, you can move and build up a whole entire clientele somewhere else. Not
It's a
saying you
big
can't do that,
undertaking though, so I get
but
that. Yeah.
it's starting over, and I don't it I love being behind the chair and I love taking clients, but I do think long term that there's a level of growth that I would love to just hand it to someone else. Like, I would love to just be like,
I
"Here
love
you go.
that.
I've built this. I wanna help you," that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, where I want education to take me is I want to start traveling and doing trainings in other cities with other artists.
Okay.
I know. I'm so excited. So I my first one is in Seattle this next week. I'm leaving on Wednesday. We do the training on Saturday. I'm taking clients on Friday, and I got fully booked for my day there already, which is like, I don't even know how I have people that follow me from there. Yeah. So I'm taking clients one day and then we're going to do a training the next day, a little group training with me and her Instagram is Ivy Brow Bar, Sydney. She's great. So I would love to collab with other artists in different cities and states and be able to bring both of our knowledges because just like what we were saying earlier, like we both do it differently, but that doesn't mean that they're both not efficient and that they both don't
Yeah.
get great outcomes.
Yeah.
So for a
I did a
student to
travel
be able to
training.
learn both is cool.
Yes, I did a travel training, it was so fun, and it was so cool being, like, one half of the educator and being like, "Oh my god, great point," like, "Oh my god," like, it's so fun, like, I'm learning alongside this training, and it's just so cool to bring that together, that collab that sounds like so much fun, I would love it, if you ever wanna come to
Yeah.
the Northern California area,
I
let's
do,
do a
I would
training.
actually really love that, yeah. California is
Yes,
my number 1, I love it.
we'll do, like, a
Yeah,
little
so
wax and thread together.
yes, because that's the thing, to
It'll
be
be
able to
so
learn both
fun.
of those things at once is just gold.
Right? Like, it's such a I love the collaboration, not only just for, like, the community-based building, but, like, I think it's a great, like, representation to somebody new to the industry of, like, how much collaboration can actually do. Because I feel like we kind of get in that stage where you get very nervous about especially people in your own town, you're like, "Oh, no, if I
Yes,
collaborate, like, everyone's gonna if they're gonna steal my clients," or, like, this, or that, and it's just like, oh my god, the second you let go of that mindset, everything opens up to, like, this
everything.
wonderful world, less stress, and, like, who wants to be alone? Like, who wants to be by themselves and everything? Like, this is
No,
hard.
right. Yeah, and I think that's what I've realized being now that I've been in this space for a little over a year alone, is that I enjoy my peace and the privacy, but I do miss the camaraderie of being in a space with other artists and other people who do the same thing. I wanna figure out how I can create that, and I love to travel. That was the thing. It's like I need to figure out how I can do my love of travel and then my love of brows together. So, I really feel like this is gonna be it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it's so fun because a lot of us get into the industry to give more freedom and flexibility, and then we really quickly learn that, like, "Oh, hold on, I'm kind of tied down to my booking app and, like, when I need to be there for my
Yeah.
clients," and tied down is maybe the wrong choice of words, it's still very fun and we enjoy it, but it's less free
Yes.
than we realized, I think, a lot of the times, and so I love you kind of taking your power back in the fact that you're like, "Oh, no, this is kind of what I want for my life, and I'm excited to take this in a new way that still works with what you want as a person."
Yeah. Yeah, and it's scary because I mean, but I think any big thing is going to be scary.
Yeah,
So, I don't know if
absolutely.
it's gonna be successful. I don't know if I'm gonna have anyone that's interested, but, like, even if I have
Oh, I'm
1 or
sure.
2 people, like, it'll be so fun. I just think continued education is fun for everyone. It's fun for the trainer and the trainee. I mean,
I completely
how
agree.
fun is it to go and then go and meet for me, it's fun to meet you, and then for the students, it's fun for them to meet us. Like, it's just all
Absolutely.
happy, fun, exciting.
And the energy of people coming together like that is something that's just I mean, it's, hard to explain. It's so much fun.
Yeah, especially, like, we doing brows is so new.
Mhm.
Especially our niche specifically. So being able
Absolutely.
to continue I get to learn from the other artists too, from the ways that you do it, and then we get to share our love for it with the newer students that are in it, and it's just, yeah, it's so fun.
No, I love that. So, if you were to look back at kind of your business as a whole, what is the best piece of business or client of any type of advice that you've been given that really stuck with you?
Definitely to just never stop. Keep going
Oh, I
no
love
matter what, even when it feels like your world is ending because there are gonna be bad points in your career, and there's gonna be things especially I feel like within the beauty industry, whether it's hair, nails, make like whatever you're doing, there is going to be competition. There is going to be people who are preying on your downfall, unfortunately. But you just have to keep fucking going because no one cares until like if you fully quit and stop, that's when you failed. But
Yeah.
until then, like, you have to keep going, and everything gets better with time, no matter what it is. Whether you're grieving something in your personal life or whatever's happening, you just have to keep trucking and keep going, and everything will get better if you just continue to focus on your business. And I just
Yeah, I
showing up for yourself and your clients day after day, and sometimes that's all you can do is just wake up and show up, and that's
yeah,
fine. And I just think with social media, it's so crazy to see. I love people that can post all the time and that are so consistent, but I think it's such a unrealistic expectation to think that you can be a
it's just
full-time
a
content creator and then
lot.
also like a full-time with your clients. It's a whole
Yeah.
thing. So
Well, then where
just
would
keep
you
going.
rather your focus be? I feel like if you ask anybody successfully keeping their books full and having really maintaining really healthy, happy communication and client relationships, their focus is on their clients, not on the content.
Absolutely, and that's the thing, not every client wants to have a camera in their face, and not every client, and this is not rude or anything, but not every client is Instagrammable, and it's just like, and that's
Absolutely.
fine. Like,
Yeah.
it's
I know. I
yeah.
get back to the space where we're taking models for stuff. Like, if you want it to look perfect, there's a time and a place and a camera and
Mhm.
everything that you can do it, but like make that a designated time. Don't have these crazy expectations for your clients. I
Yeah.
totally agree. But we were just kind of talking about like showing up and everything and you saying that and I love that little piece of advice. But what is one way that you kind of feel that you're showing up for yourself every day for you?
Honestly, by going and it's as much as I say that the part of our job just by having to be on all the time for our
Yeah.
clients sucks. I think that that helps, at least me. I think that but because it forces me to be happy, it forces me to not sit in my
I
depression and my
totally agree.
sadness. I actually worked literally the day after my mom passed away. No, I don't really remember because obviously at that time in my life, like, I think I blacked out a lot of stuff, but
Well, I'm sure.
I don't even remember, like, if my clients knew or not, just because I think that's the thing is you just again, going back to what I said before, you just have to keep going, like, no matter
Take
what,
it till you make it
and
too.
that's what they I think without people even knowing, that was helping me because it was like I either sit
Yeah.
at home and I cry, or I come here and I can be normal, like, or, like, feel some sort
Yeah.
of normalcy, so I think it's awesome that both the client and I get to share that experience because I also think
Yeah.
this might be their only 30 minutes away from their kids, away from their crazy
Yeah.
husband, or away from, I don't know, their crazy job, who knows, and we
Yeah.
both need that. We both need that time of just,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
peace
that's really
and escape
beautiful.
from the world.
I
Yeah.
agree. I love that. That's beautiful, and it's such a great point, honestly, and another part of this industry and this career and everything that I just am completely enamored with. This is totally off topic and not a great transition, but what is a favorite professional product or, like, brow-related product that you have found recently or have been using really consistently?
Honestly, the 2 things that I will always use and that I always go back to are Bronson and Tuya. I've tried so many different laminations, I've tried so many different tints, and I think as far as longevity goes for both of those things, those are the best. Longevity and then quality, um, and then how much you can customize them too. So that's what I
Yeah.
really like about Bronson is that you can get any color under the sun with those. Obviously, I think it has the biggest learning curve, but I think as
I agree.
far it gives the best result for if you have a wide range of clientele. Now, if you don't necessarily have a lot of, like, range in your clientele and you are only making a couple of different colors, and I think you can use something else, and that's totally fine. But and as far as, like, the lamination goes, I think Tuya works with people that have extremely stubborn hairs, and then it also can be great for someone who has very fine, thin hairs because it processes quickly and you can take it off. Like, I do that's something too, like, their timing, you can never I don't think with lamination solutions you use the timings that they give as a reference and not as solid. Because Tuya says 10 to 15 minutes, but most people I process for like 7.
100%.
Like, you just
I
don't even
feel like
have to use that time.
yeah, I tell my students all the time, I'm like, those are rough guidelines. There's only so much that they can account for. There's like temperature of the room, client pre existing treatments or past treatments. There's just so many things, the skin and like, I mean, the hair type and texture and
I've seen hairs that look thin but are actually really stubborn, and coarse hairs that are actually finer, and, like, there's
Yes.
just so much that you don't know. I always feel like those are guidelines and references, and they're so important to understand, but, like, they are never Bible.
No, exactly. Yeah. And so yeah, I just think those 2 products are by far the best, and I think it's fun to try new stuff, and I'm always ordering and trying new things, but
Yeah. Sometimes
I
you're
mean
surprised.
yeah, yeah, and, like, I really did at the beginning of this year, I really liked the Brow Daddy lamination, and I think I'm interested to try his, like, the gentler formula that's coming out,
Yeah.
but I don't know about you. Have you tried it?
I haven't tried any Brow Daddy. I need to get in there, but I haven't tried any of his stuff yet.
I really did like the tints. I feel like I and this is something that I go, like, with any tint that's not Bronson. I feel the same about Brow Code Stain and then the Brow Daddy colors. They're just not as customizable. I think they're
Yeah.
really
I feel
both of
like
them are
that's kind of
really what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I just feel like that's something that I'm noticing with launching new products is that there's slowly less and less customization that we're able to do, and I find that very interesting because I feel like that was kind of our superpower, and it's weird that I'm noticing brands launch things that are less customizable.
Right, and that's the thing is his line has so many colors, and I ordered all of them, but especially I think where I notice it the most is always the reds because
Yeah,
his like, he advertises and says in the description that the red is supposed to be a warmth adder, and every single time I've used it on multiple different clients, it always makes it cooler and darker, and so I'm like, "That is like a graphite, that's
the
not."
exact opposite.
Yeah, so I that scares me, and so I'm like, "Never doing
Yeah,
that again, I'm just gonna go back to, like, what I know and what I know works."
yeah.
So I
Well,
just
yeah, the other thing that I feel like from my experience, because I've worked with Bronson and I'm more like starting to work with Brow Code, and then I've also worked with like the Aqua Drops, the Infinity Aqua Drops. And it's funny that I've seen with Bronson, I feel like the cool thing with how they made their products was that their adjuster tone, like a tone adjustments, are true colors by themselves. Whereas
yes.
other lines have created tone adjusters that are just that. Like you really can't
Yeah.
use them. Like with Aqua Drops, I used a tone adjuster for a cooler, and it literally turned the blonde gray. And I was like, that's so extreme. And like with Bronson, I feel like you could use like the chestnut by itself and it'd be a really beautiful warm color, or you can add it to warm something else up. And I'm just like,
Yes.
where did we lose that disconnect? Because they're going too far in one direction. And the
Yeah.
browser, I mean, I get it with head hair, like there's a lot of room for change and things like that. But like, we have such a tiny little space and there's only so much color to fill within the hair shaft. And I just
Yeah.
feel like I'm like, "Well, it's too much." It's so dramatic and overwhelming for the and overpowering for the hairs, and I just feel
Yeah.
like Bronson does a really good job of making it its own shade, so it really is just kind of warming and cooling in that way and not overpowering the original color.
Yes, and without being so it doesn't have that aggressive staining power. I mean,
Yeah,
it looks natural, I think. Like, it's not
I
I mean,
agree.
so that's where I think you kinda lose maybe a couple of maybe a day of longevity, when you compare it to something like Brow Code or Brow Daddy, but to me, the look is better than the longevity for most people.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and not having the hairs be so freaking dark just so that you can get that really deep stain. I'm like, "Okay, well, that's gone. They're just gonna look black." Like, it looks
Yeah,
crazy.
no, exactly, yeah. And going back to, like, the lamination, so I really liked the Brow Daddy lamination when I was using it on my clients, and I finally got around to using it on myself a couple of weeks ago. Granted, my hair is not like all of my clients, but, I only processed it for 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
it's been a little over a month, and I just don't love on myself, I've noticed that if I process my brows correctly, they don't necessarily change texture, they're just flat. So they're still smooth, they're not crispy, they're nothing like that, and obviously, I do all the right aftercare, but I do deep conditioning treatments on myself once a week, which I know my clients aren't probably doing as much as I tell them to do it,
Yeah.
and I still feel like the texture of my brows are it's just too much for me. Like, they're a little
Yeah.
they're crispy, and there's no way I needed to process under 5 minutes.
Love that you're saying that. That's such a good point, and I feel like there's sometimes where we've missed the mark on that. I think we should be less concerned about day 1 lamination and more concerned about what the hair feels like 4 weeks later, 2 weeks later,
Yes.
whatever, because that's what matters, and that's what the client's gonna be like, "Wasn't for me." I want longevity out of a lamination. I want to l enjoy the way that it feels from start to finish until my next
Especially
appointment.
when you do it, like, when I'm living with it, like, you don't want to be
Yeah,
brushing through crispy brows, you don't wanna have yeah, no. So, in order for it to be something that someone wants to do more than once, it has to feel good.
absolutely, 100%. I could not agree more, and okay,
Okay, I can hear you now.
we're wrapping up, so I thank you so much for coming on and dealing with this crazy amount of technical difficulties. I'm hoping and praying that this episode plays out completely normally. We will see in
Me
the
too.
edits, but Savannah, thank you so much for coming on. This was such a nice chat, even with all the crazy technical stuff.
Yes. No, thank you for having me, I really appreciate it, it's so much fun to talk. I love it. I love sharing the love for this community.
Yes, I completely agree. I think that Riverside is really just telling us that you're gonna have to come back for a second episode of something more fluid.
Yeah, no, yeah, and if we you
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so sorry about all of this. I
No,
will
it's
send you an
okay.
email and wrap it up. And then I do want to discuss, I'll send you a DM just so we can talk more about like do good training in the future. I think that would be so much fun.
Okay, yes, I'd love that.
Yeah. Okay. I will talk to you soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much
Okay,
again.
bye. Thank you, bye.
Bye.